What if your child never gets an official diagnosis? And for that matter, what if you never do either? Does that mean your experience isn't valid? Nope. Because here's the thing, understanding your brain or your child's doesn't start with paperwork, it starts with awareness. And that awareness can change everything. Welcome back, my friends, to the Nostalgic Neurodivergent, where advocacy meets 90s vibes, late diagnosis meets real talk, and neurodivergent moms like us find clarity and connection. I'm Corey, and today we're talking about the pressure to get a diagnosis and what it really means to know yourself and your kiddos, even if that diagnosis never comes. In this episode, we'll unpack why a diagnosis can be helpful but isn't required for healing or support, the medical versus social model of disability, how self-identification creates safer homes and stronger relationships, and how to support your child and yourself with or without a label. So let's be real. Diagnosis is a privilege. It requires time, money, access, and often a whole lot of gatekeeping. And even when you do get one, it's just a name for a cluster of traits, not a crystal ball. Back in the day, the only labels that we got were from teachers or TV shows, and they usually weren't empowering. A diagnosis, though, can open doors, but it can also become a box, a label that others use to limit or pathologize you. That's why I love the social model of disability. It says, maybe we're not broken. Maybe the environment just wasn't built for our brains. Like trying to play a Game Boy in the dark. No backlight doesn't mean the game is broken. You are the expert on your own experience, and self-diagnosis is not faking it. And your child is also the expert on theirs. So self-diagnosing doesn't mean slapping on a label because it's trendy. It means noticing patterns, validating your lived experiences, and creating support systems that actually help. In the 90s, we'd keep it quiet, hope no one noticed, and power through. But now, we name it and we claim it. Studies show that self-diagnosing can improve mental health, especially in populations that are underdiagnosed, like women, people of color, and those in low-access communities. And honestly, if your kid comes to you saying, I think my brain works like this, that's not a red flag. That's bravery, and that, my friends, is the beginning of a new script. So here is what does matter. Not whether your kid has a diagnosis, but whether they feel seen. It's not about checking boxes. It's about learning how their brain and body reacts to the world, and then helping them build tools, language, and confidence around that. If you were a 90s kid like me, you probably heard, "You're fine," or "Stop being so dramatic." That language lives in us, and we can choose to change it. So, for example, if your child gets overwhelmed by loud environments, you don't need an audiologist's signature to honor that. You just need to believe them. And here's another piece of advice. Swap out, "Is this a real issue?" to, "How can we support you through this?" And don't forget to download the Emotional Resilience Reset, because it's a great place to start with regulation, whether you're navigating with or without a diagnosis. And hot take. You're allowed to know yourself. If you've ever said, "I think I have ADHD, but I'm not diagnosed," this is for you. Your experience is real. Your traits are real. Your patterns, challenges, and needs don't become more legitimate when someone else validates them. You are allowed to understand yourself without someone else's permission. And yes, a diagnosis can help. But healing can happen with insight. And insight starts with intentional curiosity, self-compassion, and naming the things that used to live in shame. You don't need someone else to unlock the next level. You're already playing. So you might be afraid that if you get this wrong, if you just assume that your kid is neurodivergent without confirmation, you'll cause harm. But here is what actually causes harm: ignoring your intuition, silencing your child, or waiting for outside permission to do what already feels true. Trust isn't reckless, it's reparative, especially in neurodivergent families. You're not guessing, you're noticing, you're caring, you're tuning in. And that matters more than any diagnostic checklist. Now try this reframe on for size. Diagnosis is a tool, not an identity, a support, not a starting point. And if this episode hits home, send it to a friend who's questioning everything just like you were. Grab the Emotional Resilience Reset in the show notes and start supporting your family from understanding, not fear. It's like building your own character in a video game. You don't need someone else to assign your stats to start playing. You get to level up as you go. And the best part, you get to help your kid do the same.